What's up, Broncos country? You're not going to believe what happened after that win against the Giants in Week 7. A hefty fine came down, and the name involved might surprise a lot of people. I'm talking about amounts that make anyone think twice before taking certain actions on the field. What could have happened in that game to generate this punishment? Stick with me until the end, because this situation deals with rules that the league takes very seriously, and it directly impacts our team. Let's understand this whole mess. So guys, let's get straight to the point. Justin Strnad, our linebacker, who's been getting the job done when called upon, ended up getting fined $15,486. That's right, you heard that correctly. More than $15,000 coming out of his pocket because of a specific play that happened against the Giants. But hold on. Before you start judging, let's understand the complete context of this whole situation. The league is extremely strict when it comes to player safety, especially in situations that can put athletes at unnecessary risk. And that's exactly what happened in that game. During the matchup against the Giants, Strnad was doing his job, pursuing the play, trying to make the tackle, fulfilling the role that any defender needs to fulfill. But at a certain moment, he committed what the league classified as illegal contact with a defenseless player. This is one of the infractions that the league punishes most severely in recent years. Look, Denver Broncos family, you know that football is a violent contact sport by nature. It's part of the game. But the league has been investing heavily in safety protocols, especially after all the studies about concussions and long-term injuries that players can suffer. That's why there are very specific rules about what you can and can't do during tackles. A player is considered defenseless in various situations: when they're in the air trying to catch a ball, when they're on the ground, when they just released a pass and can't defend themselves, among other circumstances. In these situations, defenders need to have total control over how they make contact. You can't lead with the helmet, you can't hit certain areas of the body, you can't use excessive force when the guy is clearly already stopped. In Strnad's specific case, he hit a Giants player who was in a vulnerable position. The league reviewed the footage, analyzed every angle of the play, and determined there was a violation of safety rules. That's why the fine came. And it's not just any fine. More than $15,000 is a ton of money, even for a professional athlete. Now, let's put this in perspective so you understand better. Strnad isn't one of the players with the biggest contracts on the team. He's a guy who fights for every opportunity, who works hard in practice, who waits for his chance to show what he can do. When he finally gets on the field, he's giving everything he has to help the defense. And in a fraction of a second, in a play that happens at insane speed, he makes a decision that results in this heavy financial punishment. And look, Broncos country, gotta keep it real here, the game is way too fast. These guys are making decisions in milliseconds with bodies over 200 pounds running at full speed. Sometimes what seems obvious in slow motion, on the replay, in the moment of the game is simply instinct and reaction. But the league doesn't look much at that side. The rules exist, and if you break them, you pay the price. This fine goes on Strnad's account, but it also serves as a reminder to the entire roster. Sean Payton and his coaching staff certainly use this type of situation as study material. In the defense's video meetings, you can bet this play will be analyzed frame by frame. Vance Joseph, our defensive coordinator, will explain to the entire group what happened, where the mistake occurred, and how to avoid it happening again, because, let's face it, nobody wants to lose $15,000 on a play. But more important than the money, nobody wants to put another player's career at risk, right, family? As much as their opponents, there's respect among athletes. Nobody takes the field wanting to end anyone's season. Now, there's another side of this conversation you need to understand. These fines aren't random. The league has a well-defined table of amounts based on the type of infraction. Contact with a defenseless player costs a lot. Using the helmet as a weapon costs even more. Fights on the field can result in suspensions in addition to fines. It's all very calculated to discourage dangerous behavior. And you know what's interesting? This money from fines doesn't just go into the league's coffers. A significant portion is allocated to charity programs, support funds for former players facing health problems related to football, research on safety in the sport, and other initiatives like that. So in a way, even the punishment ends up serving a greater purpose. Hey, Denver Broncos family, if you like this type of detailed analysis about everything that goes on with our team, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. Every day there's fresh content about Broncos country here on the channel. Don't miss any, partner. Coming back here to close out the reasoning, folks. What do I think of this whole situation? Look, it's complicated. On one hand, I completely understand the league's position. Safety has to come first always. The guys who play this sport already put their bodies on the line every week. We don't need unnecessary plays increasing the risk. On the other hand, I have empathy for Strnad. The guy is out there doing his job, trying to help the team win, and in a fraction of a second makes a decision that results in a hit to the wallet. 15,000 and change isn't a joke, but you know what makes me proud? It's that, even with this type of situation happening, our team continues playing with intensity, with grit, with the will to win. The Denver Broncos defense is flying this year. Vance Joseph has done spectacular work coordinating that side of the ball. The guys are bringing pressure, making tackles, forcing turnovers, and yes, playing at the limit of what's allowed by the rules, because that's what separates a mediocre defense from an elite defense family. It's playing with controlled aggression. It's knowing how far you can go without crossing the line. And when someone crosses it, like what happened here, it serves as a learning experience for the entire group. Strnad will absorb this lesson, you can bet on it. He'll go back to practice with his head held high, will continue giving his blood when he takes the field, but he'll have that experience in his bag. And who knows, a few years from now, when he's in a leadership role in the locker room, he'll use this very situation to teach the younger guys about how to play hard, but within the rules. And check this out. Broncos country, the team didn't stop because of this. The season continues, challenges keep appearing, and each game is a new opportunity to show why we're one of the most feared defenses in the conference. Strnad is part of this system and will continue contributing when called upon. Talk to me in the comments. Do you think the fine was fair? Or is the league being excessive with this type of punishment? I want to know your opinion from the real family that bleeds orange and blue. So, Denver Broncos family, do you understand now why this heavy fine happened? $15,000 coming out of Strnad's pocket for a play that lasted seconds, but that the league considered dangerous. That's the reality of modern football, guys. Stricter rules, heavier punishments, all in the name of safety. But tell me down below, did you already know about this situation? What would you do if you were Strnad on that play? Is it possible to decide differently in fractions of seconds? Drop your comment, let's debate all this. And go ahead and drop that slick like on the video, share it with that friend of yours who's also Broncos country, and stay tuned because there's a lot more content coming. The season is just heating up, and every week there's news about our team. Thanks for watching, family. Until the next video, and may there be more victories for the Denver Broncos. Peace.